A man's personality and character is exuded through his haircut. Your image is important. Our high-end services range from a traditional haircut and shave to gray blending, beard shaping, and unwanted hair removal. Located at 425 Victoria Avenue East. Book your appointment online now at modernmen.ca or call Tammy, 306-522-4111. Modern Men, a haircut for the modern man.
Hello, I'm Sean McNall, owner of TG Marketing. We are a promotional product company located in Regina, Saskatchewan. Originally founded by Tom G. McNall in 1985, we are now in our 35th year of business. My brother Ryan and I, along with our great staff, have carried the torch since Tom retired in 2011. For those of you who don't know what we do, we sell items with a company's logo on it, like clothing, pens, phone chargers, Bluetooth speakers. The list of products available is endless. Our products are a great form of advertising. Whether you want to give a gift to a valued client or show your appreciation to your staff, we have a friendly team that can help find the right product for your needs. The key to our success has been our customer service and our vast knowledge of products in our industry. We ask the right questions to get you in line with the proper product for the project you are working on. Stop by 1046 Winnipeg Street and view our showroom. Get some ideas for that next promotion you're working on. Let's make your business what everyone's talking about.
Now, can I tell you something about last year's poll going into the shortened season for the majors? Our viewers got it right. They nailed it.
How about that?
We had Greg Zahn on here, and he said the Blue Jays would finish tied for last. It would be tied for fourth in the American League East. You people said they would finish third, and they did. Wow.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
It is. G'day, Canada. Thanks for joining us for Caliber Coffee here today. It's Canada's daytime sports talk show. And we welcome our American friends, our Canadian sports fans around the world. RP here, Moose DuPont there. It's going to be a fantastic show. We've got a lot. I feel it's going to be spicy. Yeah. Don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
It's going to be spicy. We've got an Addy in here today. Whoa. I haven't even written it down myself. We've got longtime Blue Jays first base coach Tim Leiper going to join us. Blue Jays are in camp, as you know. They open the preseason on Sunday against the Yankees. So Tim Leiper joining us to talk about Canada's team. Brendan Batchelor, the voice of the Vancouver Canucks, who's good enough to join us amid these struggles that his hockey team are under. Brendan Batchelor joining us from Sportsnet 650 Vancouver in hour 2. And then an unscheduled guest, but a guy that's become a very good friend of mine in the last year and a half since I met him, Matthew Barnaby, famed NHL super pest, will be joining us from the nation's capital to talk about the breaking news. And that's in our Quick Six show topic. So please, Jordan, can you please hit it? Thank you. Breaking news out of Montreal this morning, and I have to say it's caught everybody off guard. I'm going to read from a Canadian press story. The struggling Montreal Canadiens fired head coach Claude Julien and assistant coach Kirk Muller Wednesday morning following a 3-game skid. Assistant coach Dominic Ducharme was appointed interim coach, and Alex Burrows was added to the Canadiens coaching staff. After a 1-week break in their schedule, the Canadiens have lost 3 in a row. They've lost 5 of 6 and 6 of 8. since a strong start. A 5-4 shootout loss in Ottawa against the Senators Tuesday night marked the end of the line for Julien, who returned for his second go-around as Montreal's coach midway through the 2016 and 17 season. So there's more here. He goes on to talk about Ducharme's resume, but I think we all know that. Even Habs fans, Moose, are surprised that they fired Claude Julien this morning. I am. It's my commentary on Cat Country. Who had Montreal as the first team to fire their coach in Canada in the Scotia North Division? Nobody.
Nobody. We talked about it this week. Who was going to be the first coach to go?
Montreal didn't come up.
Not even close. Wasn't even on the radar. But, you look back, and I've been, reading and watching some coverage on this and listening to coverage from Montreal this morning. And, you look at the great start that they had, and that masked a lot of issues.
Yeah.
And one of them was special teams, which, the power play, I've learned that's Kirk Muller's responsibility. So that's why he's involved in this as well. You look at last season, 2 separate 8-game losing streaks last year.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that's led up to this. They're going to make the move and see if they can shake things up, because it's a short season. You can't wait a long time.
Well, that's clearly what Marc Bergevin is thinking. So I want to hear from all of you NHL fans where you are on the Montreal Canadiens firing their coach. I shot out a text message to, look, I got a million Habs fan friends, and one of them, I said, what's your take? He says, I'm okay with it. Can Babcock speak French? That was his answer. I just want to say this. The Canadiens have slipped from 2nd to 4th. They still have a 9-5-4 record. I was trying to watch the Chicago Columbus game last night, but I couldn't, because it just seemed like there was this 3-ring circus going on at the Canadian Tire Center in Ottawa. So I flipped on, and I'm glad that I did. It was an unbelievable hockey game. Matthew Barnaby was live tweeting it. That's what made me think we should get Barney on today. And what, you going to blame Claude Julien for Carey Price's terrible 4th goal allowed for Ottawa, which was Tkachuk? That was one of his 3, right? You going to blame Julien for sitting on top of Matt Murray in the crease and getting a goal disallowed? Well, I guess you are.
Yeah.
Because you fired him. So I'm just saying players win and coaches lose, and that's the case with Claude Julien today. So there's our opening thoughts on the biggest news of the day, and we're the only sports talk show in Canada talking about it live, I might add. So moving on to point 2, Mike Babcock interview fallout. If I may, a hearty thank you to SportsCenter for running not just the quotes, but the actual video of our interview with Mike Babcock yesterday. To me, it's no small thing. As a kid, I had a goal, Darren, of getting my name in the hockey news. It became evident the older that I got, I wasn't going to get my name in the hockey news.
Why not? I think there might be a road, the 100 most powerful people in hockey. You got the interview.
Do they still even do it? Like at our farm, we had a subscription to the hockey news, and it got passed down. My brother would read it, then my other brother would read it, and then I would read it, and then my dad would read it. We knew what was going on with every team and every division. Stan Fischler was a god. Bob McKenzie, all these guys, Brian Costello. And for whatever reason, I guess they took their eye off the ball. The hockey news is not a thing that I read anymore.
It's important, too, because I think even in 06, when I started covering hockey in the SJHL on a daily basis and riding the bus, we did have the hockey news. It was a newspaper.
Yes,
Remember
of course.
that? It was a newspaper.
That's what I'm talking about.
It wasn't a magazine that you would know the hockey news to be now.
So just saying, my goal was to get my name in the hockey news, and I never did, and it's not even a goal anymore. But we got it on SportsCenter, which how I talk about it every morning that I ride the bike or I'm on the elliptical watching SportsCenter to see your name pop up there. Ding! That's quite a feeling.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you, SportsCenter, for doing that. And so on the Babcock thing, Jeff O'Neill just started following me on Twitter, so I'm not going to say anything bad about him. But they played the clip on TSN 1050 Overdrive, and he's like, outrageous. He just continued to bang on Babcock. And I think we were all waiting for the Mike Commodore tweet, were we not? Mm-hmm. And it came out, and he ripped Babcock again. And my wife did say to me this morning, man, he sounds like a bad guy. And I'm like, you haven't even met him. Don't go by what everybody else is saying. Which is also part of my commentary this morning. I'm standing up against cancel culture, clearly. What's being said about Babcock, they're twisting his quotes to fit a narrative. How many times in the interview did he say, I've made mistakes, I wish I could take back my words and actions, we're all striving to get better in life? No. That's not what they wanted to hear. They wanted the quotes that you saw where this doesn't pass the smell test. Stuff like which he also said. But he repeatedly said, we all make mistakes and I'm trying to get better. That's what I got out of it. But they didn't want to hear that. Those that hate Babcock don't want to hear that. And I'm not going to turn this into an us versus them. But I believe that he has admitted his mistakes. And I'm not going to allow people to make our mistakes a life sentence for us. That's what they're trying to do with Mike Babcock.
Yeah, and it's really tough because the guy or girl that was with your partner before you has bad things to say about them. Right? But you know who they are and you're comfortable and you're, there. And you never get over that until you move on. Right? And find somebody else or, replace that void. And if you're still banging on it, there's a void there still for you.
And you're hurting and you need to move on. Mike Commodore needs to move on.
But it needs to be replaced with something, right? That hurt needs to be replaced with something that doesn't hurt, and it clearly hasn't happened yet, unfortunately.
Thank you, Dr. Phil.
You're welcome.
Trent in Norway writing in. Norway calling, what a shocker in Montreal. Losing streaks are one thing, but the coaching firings are out of left field. Great interview with Babcock yesterday, and for TSN to pick it up. My gut feeling with the Blue Jays is that they're going to the playoffs. Stay well, everyone. That is Trent in Norway chiming in on all of the day's news. So I'm not necessarily done on the Babcock thing. Well, I could go on for hours about that. Terry Koshin from the Toronto newspaper, I think The Sun, basically hinted in his column that I went easy on Mike Babcock and that he'll have a much bigger challenge when he interviews with Christine Simpson on Sportsnet tonight. And I'm thinking, I wasn't trying to pin Babs down. One of his good friends texted me yesterday and said, good for you for opening the door for Babs to tell his story. I said, it wasn't hard. Hey, Babs, how you doing? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That was his chance to get stuff off his chest. I don't invite people into our house and then trample on them. That's not what we do around here. And we'll see what happens with Christine Simpson tonight. She doesn't trample on people either. I'm sure she will hold his feet to the fire a little more. But we have different mandates.
Different mandates. We are in the relationship business. Reporters and the hard-nosed journalists, they're in the news business. They're not in the relationship business.
I never said I was a journalist. That's going on my tombstone. The poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, who will be the next head coach of the Montreal Canadiens? Clark and I came up with these three names. Dominic Ducharme, who's the interim coach right now. Gerard Gallant, an original Maritimer and very successful coach. Mike Babcock. Or other. Who? I see what? Ducharme's leading?
Yeah.
He is on Facebook. On Twitter, Gerard Gallant's leading. And a lot of people are writing in and saying, Patrick Roy. And what a wonderful story that would be. Maybe we'll ask Barney when he comes on.
If Patrick Roy has replaced that wound and filled the void.
Speaking of getting over things.
Then he'll be right there in line to be the next head coach of the Montreal Canadiens. Dominic Ducharme, though, we know him, right? World Junior coach. It's when you see his face, you don't remember the name so much. I mean, we do, but when you see the face and you see the pictures and that hair, you're like, oh, yeah, Team Canada, World Juniors, very successful. He would be a very logical replacement to take over, but he's got his shot now.
So there are some of the things. Moving on to point 3. Tiger Woods' crash in L.A. These quick 6 show topics are of importance to me in order, not maybe in the world. I think a lot of people would say Tiger Woods would be your number 1 quick 6 show topic, but just not for me. I was watching the Genesis Invitational on the weekend where they interviewed Tiger, and he wasn't participating in that tournament either because my in-laws are huge golf people. And when the crash was first reported yesterday and it came up as notifications on our phone, you saw how many people were immediately saying, when can he golf again? How does this affect his career? I don't know about you folks, but the coverage that I've seen this morning on ESPN is that he's probably not ever golfing again, and that isn't even his number 1 concern. Mm-hmm. It's walking again because he's got a rod put in his leg, multiple fractures in his lower right leg. He did win a tournament on a broken leg. I understand that. But I think that Tiger's competitive days of golf are over. And is that horrible of me to say that based on what I'm seeing from coverage out of LA?
I had a long conversation actually with Phil Gross, who we used to work at Golf Saskatchewan together, basically running golf in the province. Big golf guy. And that was his thoughts too, right? And I kind of went back against it. I'm like, don't you believe in miracles, though? That's the Disney movie of Tiger Woods. If there's a way he can play again, even if it's on a cart of some kind, he's going to try. But I think, I've come to this realization you're both right. He's 45. The body doesn't heal the same way that it did when you were 25. He's probably done. And, the next great story will be maybe does his kid follow in his footsteps. But
Charlie.
Yeah, but a very tough day for the golfing community for sure.
There's no doubt about it. But I was just sort of shocked how people were immediately thought about his golf career. I thought about his life and his personal safety. He's alive. And if you've, been involved in crashes like this or know people that have, that's the number one thing. So anyways, moving on, point 4. How about this one? Jennifer Jones becomes the GOAT. Would she be happy to be known as the GOAT, JJ, of Canadian women's curling? She's the all-time Scotties wins leader, 163 wins by virtue of what she did yesterday. Disclaimer, I would have thought she already was. And if she wins this Scotties, would be her 7th, and that would be the most ever. So I would just assume if she's tied for the most wins at 6, and there's more teams than there's ever been, you would think there would be more wins. Would you not think that?
Yeah. More games, more wins. She is. She's
the GOAT.
She's the GOAT. She's the GOAT. She's had a rough go this year at the Scotties for sure, but everybody has. A lot of mistakes, but it's still fun to watch. And our girl Rachel, she's playing right now, but
she is.
Hasn't lost yet.
So we have our curling report coming up a little later on for Verge Agriculture, and what a wonderful set of partners they've been.
Oh, yeah.
Out of Calgary. Verge Agriculture, that's coming up. My NHL leftovers, how things move real fast, right? I had these ready to go, and then Julien gets fired. And now they're telling me that Elliot Friedman's joining the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's not true? Why are these guys writing in and saying it's Elliot Friedman? Guys, get your act together. Not you guys, the viewers. Anyways, the leftovers. Number 1, I settle into my lazy boy dupes where I'm really getting like my butt's being molded.
The groove,
yeah, it's great. I'm all excited for Mike Smith, and I'm watching Jack Michaels on the Oilers broadcast saying he leads the NHL and this, and this. He's 4-0 since coming back. Whatever the stats were. You didn't see the start of the game, I assume?
No, but I saw the first
shot. Out of the corner, boop. That's all you needed.
Yeah.
Which I immediately thought of my leftovers. I'm like, will the real Mike Smith please stand up? Are you the Mike Smith of old, Arizona, 2012 Western Conference Final against LA, or buckling in Calgary with the Flames? What is this Mike Smith? Because I can tell you as a quasi-Oiler fan, they're my second favorite team. Wouldn't be too confident going into the playoffs with this hot and cold.
I know.
Not at all, man. So anyways, that's one. Will the real Mike Smith please stand up? We still don't know who you are. So one of my favorite Eminem songs, by the way, Please Stand Up.
Yeah.
You like that one?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, to Brendan Gallagher, stay out of the crease. Did you see PJ Stock having an absolute meltdown on Twitter last night with viewers?
Did he reply to you?
No, but it was so entertaining.
It was.
PJ Stock just melted on Twitter with people yesterday about the Brendan Gallagher goal in the crease. And it was literally 50-50. When it went to review, I'm listening to Gord Miller talk and Noodles, and I agreed with him. This could go either way. And it went either way. And they ended up going to overtime and lost. And it's like, Gallagher, stay out of the crease. What are you doing? What are you even mad about? You can't go into the crease and bump goalies. And like Noodles, obviously I'm a goalie hugger too. But how could Gallagher even be upset that that goal was called back?
I know, but there's so much. It's 50-50. And respect, people that I look up to and respect their opinions are on both sides of this. Because I watched it too, and you got to stay away. It's goaltender interference. But then at the same time, he had plenty of time to get up and get set for the shot. So
he did.
I don't think Gallagher really affected the goal or his ability to make the save. But he definitely needs to stay out of the crease, and you can't knock the goaltender.
They don't score the goal if Gallagher doesn't bump the goalie.
That's the debate.
That's what it is. It's still 50-50. But, Joe Hamilton's watching in St. Louis, Missouri. And he says, loving the Pats hoodie. Great talking to you last night. It was his show that I was on in St. Louis. And the Blues are his first team. The Leafs are his second team. And he said, I said, why is anybody a Leafs fan? You know, that's my thing. I've never really got a good answer.
Right.
And he said, why would anybody be a Montreal Canadiens fan? I said, 24 Stanley Cups. What more do you need?
Why do you love your kids?
Because they're your kids.
They're your kids. You've grown up with them. You know all their stories. You know their flaws. You know their successes.
Not going with you on this one.
It's because they're on Hockey Night in Canada every weekend.
That's different than being your kids.
No, you know everything about them. You know their stories. You've grown up with the Leafs.
I'm smelling a face-off.
Every Saturday night. That's why.
More leftovers. The Kachucks are fun to watch, but they're still a pain in the butt. Cannot stop watching the Scotia North Division. I'm trying to watch Chicago-Columbus, and I can't. I'm being pulled into this Canadian game. And I don't regret going there.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. And the other one, apparently some people don't like Mike Babcock. We won't go any more on that. And then the last point, the Canadian Football League, I guess they and the players are close to getting together to get their proposal to go to the government with regarding health and safety protocols. Big article at 3downnation.com. Not something that we're going to delve into here today. We got Tim Leiper next because we're going to talk some Blue Jays baseball. And not just Blue Jays, but every other team around the American League East. It's going to be fun. Matthew Barnaby coming up today and Brendan Batchelor too. This has been the warm-up for the Four Seasons Sports Palace. Come in and warm up at the Four Seasons. You're home for the NHL and UFC. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus TV network across all 10 provinces and 31 states. Live daily on YouTube and Facebook and listen live at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. While the world seems to be facing one challenge after another, our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming at the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
an original 16 to fit your active lifestyle. Introducing Original 16 Canadian Ultra Lager. Just 80 calories and 2.5% alcohol. Taste without compromise.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Lots going on the RP show today, but I need to clarify one thing before we bring in longtime Blue Jays first base coach Tim Leiper. This is from Gary in Warman, Sask.
What'd we do?
On the 221, he writes in on the Prairie Mobile text line. He says, "Hey, Rod, I like your show, but you lied today." This came in late yesterday. You said you were the first ever to interview Babcock about the Sasky coach job. You're wrong. He was on 650 radio today at 2:30. You were the second. Gary, you caught the replay on Game Plus TV, which airs later in the day. I don't know why I'm getting hung up on this, but he joined us at 12:40 p.m. Central and then later appeared on 650 a.m. at 2:30 p.m. Why do I care so much?
It's a feather in the cap.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you to Jermaine Franklin, who pointed out that interview here yesterday was the first in a year and a half since Babs was fired by the Leafs. Okay, let's bring in Tim Leiper. Thanks for sitting through all that, Coach. How you doing, Timbo?
No, I'm good. You got to clear that up. You're the one that broke it. I'm right with you on that one.
Okay, thank you. Listen, before we get into the nuts and bolts of the Blue Jays analysis, we just started talking little Jays yesterday, warming the viewers up that you were coming on, and the comments just went insane. Western Canada loves the Toronto Blue Jays. When did you realize that is a major fact?
Well, I had heard, my first year in the big leagues was 2014. You always hear how great the Seattle trip is. And then you experience the Seattle trip, and it is unbelievable. I mean, obviously, I knew from roving around Vancouver in my first year here, which I was in the minor leagues, I knew there was a good Jays following. But when I took that first trip to Seattle, that's a whole different beast. I mean, it's almost, again, it's a home game. And the fact that there's 20,000 people in the stands for you at batting practice and you're running off the field and it has a playoff-type atmosphere, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, there you go. So from Toronto to Seattle and literally everywhere in between, they love the Toronto Blue Jays. And so you saw Bo Bichette, I would think, what day was it? Sunday he met with the media via Zoom, and he expects a World Series for the Blue Jays. I love the confidence. What are your thoughts on the outlook of the Jays?
I think it's good. I think it's a work in progress. I think they know that. I mean, I think if you ask what the expectations are of front office guys and players, I think they're completely different, which it should be. And even coaches for that matter. I mean, you want to believe you're the best. And to be honest with you, if you don't think that way, you're not in the right headspace anyway. So these guys believe that they were a playoff team last year. They were. And they've gotten a lot better, which makes it the jump very easy for them. And you want guys thinking this. You want them to do that. You have adults in the front of the room that try to maybe temper those, but at the same time, they have to believe too. Because, it's funny. You always think you're good or you maybe think you're bad, but you sit sometime in June and is what you are. And you need to be prepared for both. And sometimes the one takeaway I have from 5 years in the big leagues here is that I saw teams give up on themselves way too early when they were really good, or way before they had maybe a 5-10 game winning streak. It really changes your place in the standings. And so I just think, again, if you're not thinking you're the best team, if you're not thinking you're going to get to the World Series, and you're not prepared for that, then you're not in the right place.
Going to ask our viewers if you have questions for longtime Jays first base coach Tim Leiper. Fire them at us, and producer Clark's going to have a million. I'm just going to say this, and then I'll turn it over to everybody else. I was stunned when I heard Bo Bichette had only played 75 games in the bigs, because it seems like we've heard his name for a long time, seems like he's been around for a long time. And what's exciting to me is with him, Biggio, and Vladdy, it's here. People gave him a pass, I guess, in the playoffs for being swept by the Rays. I don't know why, but the time is now. And that's exciting for this Blue Jays team, unless I've misread it. Is the time not now for this group?
It's definitely now, and they know it's now too. Like I've said this in a couple of things I've done. Like, okay, the puppies are mature now. Like the cuteness kind of has to wear off. Like the stakes are a lot higher now. And again, they know that. They believe that. They were there. They were in the playoffs last year. And you know, a 2-game playoff, like anything can happen, right? So that's neither here nor there. But it's time to answer the questions. Is Vladimir Guerrero a really good player, going to put up a high OPS, going to be a really good defensive first baseman? Can Bo play shortstop? Can he continue to do his things on the offensive side that he's always done? Is Cavan for real? Is he going to be able to adjust to third base? I know he's going to play a lot of other places. So those questions have to get tightened up. The great thing is, I know the players think that, and I know the players know that. Like the things that Bo said about him playing shortstop, the fact that he was disappointed in the way the season went. Even though if you look at it, he kind of had a lot of success, but at the same time, he understands the questions. He gets it. And their stakes are higher. And it is time for the newness to wear off. It's time for the potential label to kind of be shed. And it's time for those guys to go out and perform. And they're well aware of that. Now you add 2 guys into the clubhouse, and Simeon and Springer, guys that have actually been in the playoffs every single year. That just naturally is going to filter over and make them a little bit better and raise the bar even more.
That is exciting stuff. So DG in Saskatoon writes in and he says, "Morning, boys. Would love to hear Tim's thoughts on 2 young Canadian baseball players, St. Louis Cardinals outfielder and Gold Glove winner Tyler O'Neill and Blue Jays prospect Otto Lopez. Does Tim think Otto can crack the Jays lineup?"
I don't know if he's going to have an opportunity to this year just because of his age and the fact that he hasn't played enough. He went down with us and played on the I think it was a Pan Am game qualifier when we went to Brazil. I believe I'm getting the years mixed up because COVID's got me completely whacked out. So it was like in the last 2 years, and he's a really good player. He's got a lot of versatility. He has the ability to put the bat on the ball, get the barrel to it, and find the holes. And which is to me in the game and the way the game's going, that offense totally plays. Getting better defensively, getting more experience, having a year of minor league baseball under his belt, which hopefully happens this year. He's going to be really good. And Tyler O'Neill, I'm a good friend with the Cardinals manager. I know he loves him. Obviously, he won a Gold Glove. He's great. The only time I've really been around him was a little bit just watching the Pan Am games here in Toronto in 15. And then he played on our WBC team that we weren't very good last time. And real happy for him. Good guy, energetic guy, loves to play. And there's a lot of great things about him. Canadian baseball is really strong, and it's only getting stronger too.
There are a lot of questions coming in about prospects, but I need to ask you this, Coach. We're going to get Blue Jays inundated all spring long here until they actually hit the field. Tell me about the other teams in the American League East. The Jays finished 3rd. Our viewers voted last year. They predicted they'd finish 3rd, and they did. And they voted for 3rd place again. Just yesterday, we had that poll. Who's their biggest challengers in the American League East?
I think the Yankees obviously are at the top. I mean, it was a slow offseason for them, but you can see they've kind of rallied a lot. I mean, they took a couple good chances with another Canadian, Jameson Taillon, who pitched for us in the WBC. He's a Texas Canadian, but he is Canadian. He pitched for us in the WBC in 2011 or 13. I don't know. Again, the years are getting mixed up. But that's a really good addition. They got a good starting set. They got a really good bullpen. They kind of quietly went out and got Darren O'Day to go along with Zach Britton and Chad Green. I mean, they're really good. They got a deep lineup. Health's going to be a big issue for them. You need Stanton, you need Judge to stay healthy because that changes the outlook of that team a little bit. But going in, you got to look at they're pretty good. And look at the Rays won the East and the Rays went to the World Series. So they did lose their top 2 pitchers, which were really, really good pitchers. And that's going to be tough to kind of I'm going to turn my phone off here. But that's going to be tough to kind of, to kind of plug that hole, but they have depth and they have a formula that's kind of worked for them. I would put the Jays ahead of the Rays, but a lot of things got to happen, for them to get there too. And these teams aren't done yet. I mean, ideally, you want your team to be in first place from day one and go the whole season and have no adversity and go. But the reality is it never happens that way. And I think when you look at the Jays and you look at the fact they're really short in dependable starters, I think a little bit's by design because, as the season goes on and you start looking at teams that are dropping out of the races and are going to sell people and going to be guys are going to be available for trade. And in case you haven't looked, half of baseball is not even really trying this year. So there's going to be a lot of teams to choose from. And that gives you a chance to get a guy that doesn't only help you for this season, but is able to help you for maybe the season after and the season after that. So I think that's kind of where they're looking. I think in a way it's kind of smart because with the guys that are left, I don't know if there's a real bona fide answer out there. I don't think you wanted to get Tawan Walker for 3 years. I think they're hoping for a guy on a 1-year deal if they're going to go out and spend money that way. So it might not be perfect right now, but they know where they're weak and they know where they have to go. And I think there's going to be some people available during the summer, sometime in June, July, where that guys are going to be available and they're going to make their team even better.
Well, that was my actual question for you. I mean, before you showed up with the Blue Jays in 2014, you're familiar with the franchise history. We were crappy for 20 years. Could never get past the Red Sox and the Yankees ever. And now you say you throw the Rays in there. You didn't even mention the Red Sox. But the Blue Jays still have a chance, and we're talking about Biggio, Vladdy, Bichette, now Springer, but none of them are pitchers. What are they missing? What's the chink in their armor, Tim, entering the season?
Starting pitching. I mean, they know that. Everybody knows that. I mean, you got Ryu, who's your stabilizer, but also Ryu's a 6-inning guy. And the way it ended last year, and he didn't really bounce back, and there's concerns with him. So that's he's great. I mean, he's been unbelievable the last 3-4 years. But at the same time, you got to be cautious that your number 2 guy's Pearson, who hasn't really thrown. He's thrown maybe 100, just close to 100 innings in pro ball, and he didn't throw 10 last year. So that's a big deal. And then you got Robbie Ray, Tanner Roark, Ross Stripling, Steven Matz. They have depth. They have guys that can cover innings and start. But you just kind of hope one of those guys kind of takes off, or just a combination of guys kind of takes off. So they've created some depth. They need starting pitching. Again, I think they're going to be on the constant lookout for it. It's so important to have a guy that can spin 7, maybe 8, just one time through the rotation. Even the thought of that is like a really good. And when you leave yourself short on starting pitching, they've built a really good and deep bullpen, but at the same time, you don't want to overuse these guys. I mean, they kind of got in that situation last year, and they really pieced it together well. But I'm not sure if you remember, they were really running on fumes with playing so many close games early that they had that COVID break when Philadelphia guys tested positive, and they got like 3 or 4 days off, and it gave them a chance to reset and kind of get themselves righted at the right time. So you just don't want to wear the pen guys down, because it's a really good pen, and a lot of those guys are coming off injuries too. So you don't want to throw a heavy workload on them. You just need starters to cover some innings and just like to get those guys spaced out and get them work on a regular basis, because you need all your players to be good in September going into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Outstanding.
Plus you have to get there.
Well, yeah, no kidding. Outstanding preview. Tim, thank you for this. Enjoy the ball, and we'll catch up here once we get rolling.
Sounds great. Always good talking to you.
Thank you, buddy. Longtime Blue Jays first base coach Tim Leiper joining us on video chat. Hey, the curling report we bring to you daily, covering the Scotties for Verge Agriculture. Manitoba's Jennifer Jones became the career leader in wins at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts with a 6-5 win Tuesday over Newfoundland and Labrador's Sarah Hill. Jones arrived at the 2021 Tournament of Hearts 2 back of the 152 victories held by Colleen Jones. Jennifer Jones knows the record would have meant a lot to her late father, Larry, who died 2 years ago at the age of 80. The wins record is among many Jones holds in women's curling. If the 6-time national champion prevails in the Calgary bubble, the 46-year-old from Winnipeg will be the only woman to win 7. Ontario's Rachel Homan and defending champion Carrie Einerson remained unbeaten Tuesday night at 5-0 atop Pool A. Alberta's Laura Walker was 4-2, followed by Beth Peterson's Wild Card 3 team, all at 3-3. Northern Ontario's Krista Burns and Kerry Galusha of the Territories were knotted at 2-3. Nova Scotia's Jill Brothers 2-4. Mackenzie Zacharias' Wild Card 2 team is 1-4, and Yukon's Laura Eby winless in 5. Over in Pool B, Quebec's Laurie St. George and Chelsea Carey's Wild Card 1 team lead the pool at 4-2. PEI's Suzanne Burt, BC's Corinne Brown, and Saskatchewan's Sherry Anderson are even with Manitoba at 3-2. The top 4 teams from each pool of 9 at the end of the preliminary round Thursday take their records with them into the championship round. So updating, let me refresh my screen. This morning's draw 13, because they're rolling already. Here we go through 7. It is Team Peterson, Wildcard 3, leading Team Northern Ontario Burns by a score of 6-4. In Calgary, Wildcard 2, Zacharias leads Nova Scotia's Brothers 5-4. They're tied at 3. Rachel Holman, unbeaten, 5-0 against Galusha. of the Northwest Territories. 3-3 the score, playing 7. And Team Canada's Carrie Anderson leads Yukon's EB by a score of 9-6. They are playing 8. The Curling Report is brought to you by Verge Agriculture, helping farmers plan and optimize their operations across every field. Visit vergeag.com to learn more today. We'll be right back. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus TV Network, Facebook, and YouTube Live, and listen live for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions is Saskatchewan's only full-service supply chain company. Strategic sourcing, PO creation, and order expediting, VMI and vending solutions, and free delivery are just a few of the supply chain services we provide. If your company needs it, Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions can get it for you. Price, quality, service, Rockstar Supply Chain Solution is helping Saskatchewan companies buy better.
Look like the pros. Shop Ultimate Fan Zone. NHL, NFL, MLB, CFL, NBA, and more. We have something for every sports fan. Autographed jerseys, prints, jersey stitching, custom framing, and collectibles. UFZ is your one-stop sports store offering fans official team gear. Check out Saskatchewan's Man Cave Corner on River and Main, downtown Moose Jaw, or visit us online at ultimatefanzone.ca. Built by fans for the fans.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. We continue to follow strict COVID-19 guidelines, but we've also made it easier than ever to skip the showroom and shop online. Trade up to an all-new 2021 GMC Yukon, Sierra, or Buick Encore GX and get super low payments and super high trade-in values all month long. Plus, shop online or in-store and shop worry-free with our great selection of certified pre-owned vehicles. It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC in Regina. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
IKS Live. IKS Live. Western Canada's premier production services company. LED sign rentals. Video production. Event management. Look no further than IKS Live. Visit our website. IKS Live. Always the best seat in the house. IKS Live.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Welcome back, everybody. Moose DuPont is here. Yeah. I just hogged the Tim Leiper interview. I'm sorry.
I got other things to do.
Okay, you're good? You're good?
I'm good. I'm good.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the next 20 minutes, it's going to be viewer takeover here. This is where you settle in with your Caliber coffee and you talk sports with us. And remind me to talk about Telemiracle. People are rallying to the cause, Dupes.
Oh, yeah.
We're going higher.
And just on that Caliber note, I just got a note from them yesterday.
Yeah.
They've got a great online ordering deal now. Delivery is super cheap. So go to their website, Caliber Coffee, and get yours.
I'm glad they let us know that. I'm glad when the sponsors reach out, right? Mm-hmm. Reach out and touch you.
Yeah. Well,
we like that.
Yes.
Yeah. You people get typing. Thank you. The poll question, updating it. Who will be the next head coach of the Montreal Canadiens? Dominic Ducharme, who is interim after Claude Julien was fired this morning. Gerard Gallant, Mike Babcock, or other. Whom? And Gallant is leading on Twitter. He's got 56% of the vote. Second place is Ducharme. They're saying on Facebook, Ducharme. As you said earlier, he's the World Junior guy. I know nothing about the guy. I'm not qualified to answer this question. The other, with 5%, a lot of people saying Patrick Roy. Mm-hmm. And that is too delicious to be true.
What a story.
Could they actually make that happen? That just makes too much sense to hire Patrick Roy, who's had such success with the Quebec Rempart. Anywho, where are we? Viewer takeover from Figgy. Paul Figler from the dubnetwork.ca. Viewer takeover is my favorite recurring segment of the show. Then say something. Armando Moreno in Mexico City, global football reporter, says one of the two CFL, dang it just slipped off the screen. There it is. Global Combines planned for Mexico is taking place this Saturday in the city of Monterrey. CFL scouts will join the event through virtual platforms. Well, you know those scouts wish that they could be there.
Yes.
And are we going down that road today on the day that the Montreal Canadiens fire Claude Julien? We're going to talk about the CFL. I'm okay with that. The Naylor tweet came out yesterday, Dave Naylor from TSN, that the CFL and the Players Association were putting the finishing touches on their proposal. I went and read it later to dive into it a little more. So this is what's going to go to the government to see if they can be approved to play in 2021. My take was that this is the first hurdle of a hell of a lot of hurdles. That was my take on the read.
I know when I said it yesterday, I thought they'd be 3 or 4 hurdles down the road in terms of, this plan's going to get rejected or there's a high probability, and they're going to have to come back with changes to it and updates. And I would have thought they'd been on the 3rd draft by now. But it almost seems like, the teacher comes around the desk and says, where's your homework? Oh, I'm just working on it. I'm almost done putting the finishing touches on it, right? Because, we saw that from government yesterday when they said they haven't seen a CFL plan yet, a plan from the CFL. We talked about it, and now it comes out, but we're just finishing it up, guys. We're just finishing it up. It's almost to you. Meanwhile, they're in the back saying, let's get this plan together, and let's get it in by the end of the week.
You've got it right.
But if that's what it takes to get the plan done, then great. I know they're working. I don't mean to think that they're not doing anything. They're working on these plans, and if it's a 600-page plan like the NHL presented, which it should be, that takes a long time, and it's a lot of work. But it is good news for the CFL if they're going to get this plan in.
Somebody in America texted me yesterday and said, how do you feel about the fact that the CFL and the OHL are being held to the same health and safety protocols as the NHL? And I said, why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
We're talking about human beings. We're talking about health and spreading the virus. What's the difference?
To the same plans that you are.
So it's cost the NHL millions. It may potentially cost Major Junior Hockey and the Canadian Football League millions. Why wouldn't it be the same?
Yeah.
Nelson Hackowicz says, does the Dub Hub being in Regina give the young Pats an edge to finish in the top spot? Building familiarity and comfort? I'm going to push that to the next segment. Push it. What a weird scenario it is for the Western Hockey League's East Division in that the standings don't mean anything. There are no playoffs. Same for the other divisions, come to think of it. But who's kidding who? When they drop the puck, you're going to be playing for something.
That's right.
So you're saying, is being at home going to help? They're not going to be at home, though.
They'll be in the same situation.
The Pats will be in the same bubble as everybody else. And you guys got me all hot and bothered about hockey here. So here's my sports update. Joey Anderson scored twice as the Toronto Marlies beat the Stockton Heat 5-1 Tuesday in American Hockey League play. Listen to these names, dupes. Andrew D'Agostini stopped 30 of 31 shots to lead Toronto over Stockton for the second time in 3 days following a 7-1 victory Sunday. Tyler Gaudette, Joseph Duzak, and Richard Clune also scored for the Marlies, who are 4-2. Alex Gallant replied for the 0-2 Heat. the Flames AHL affiliate. Garrett Sparks made 20 saves for Stockton. Meanwhile, get this one.
Okay.
Zach Jones scored the winner in overtime, and the Halifax Mooseheads came from behind to beat the Cape Breton Eagles 4-3 Tuesday night in the Q. Jones' goal came 2 minutes into the extra period, capped a comeback from an early 3-1 deficit, and helped Halifax halt its 5-game losing streak. Are you okay with me throwing in these?
I love it.
Yeah, I love it
Bring
a lot,
it on.
too. The Raptors will try and get back in the win column tonight when they face the Miami Heat in a road game. It's a quick turnaround for Toronto after dropping a 109-102 decision last night against the Philadelphia 76ers that halted their win streak at 4 games. And bear with me, this sports update brought to you by Ballers Rec Room, Regina's newest entertainment destination. Visit their website at ballersrecroom.com. And for Red Bull Canada, Red Bull gives you wings. We are nicely down the road of viewer takeover, so we'll jump right back into it when we come back. Matthew Barnaby and Brendan Batchelor coming up. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus TV network across all 10 provinces and 31 states. Live daily on YouTube and Facebook, and listen live for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed. IKS Live. IKS Live. Western Canada's premier production services company. LED sign rentals. Video production. Event management. Look no further than IKS Live. Visit our website. IKS Live. Always the best seat in the house. IKS Live.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Working with my family has been great. My mom and dad have taught us the importance of hard work. I've been here since I was 10 years old, and my dad has taught me a lot about quality work.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
There's something for everyone at the Mad Greek Eatery. Delicious Greek dishes, pizza, lasagna, pastas, soups, salads, and much more. The Mad Greek Eatery brings the best authentic Greek cuisine right to you. Available for licensed dining, events, delivery, and takeout. For the best taste and huge portions, there is only one place. Visit the Mad Greek Eatery, downtown Moose Jaw. Call for takeout and delivery today.
Introducing Original 16 Hard Seltzer. The refreshing taste of delicious peach with vodka made in Saskatchewan. New hard seltzers from Original 16.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. We continue to follow strict COVID-19 guidelines, but we've also made it easier than ever to skip the showroom and shop online. Trade up to an all-new 2021 GMC Yukon, Sierra, or Buick Encore GX and get super low payments and super high trade-in values all month long. Plus, shop online or in-store and shop worry-free with our great selection of certified pre-owned vehicles. It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC in Regina.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Welcome back, everybody. Firing up the comments here, and then I'll get to the text line as well. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, I find that it's a roller coaster following the CFL this last year or so. They have to play in 2021 or they will fold their tents, so to speak. Some people have already forgotten about them. The CFL. Can you put the comment up? Sorry, guys, I should have warned you, from Donald Mitchell, our Navy friend in Bahrain. Something about my ultra depressing. Here it is. After your truthfully depressing take on the CFL yesterday, my roller coaster ride is on the upswing with today's news from 3downnation.com. Again, that is that the CFL and its players are putting the finishing touches on their proposal to go to government with their proposal to play. And yeah, they're doing their due diligence. This is what has to be done. We all want the CFL to play. I'm just saying there's a long, long road. I'm choosing to remain positive, but at some point, there's a difference between realism and pessimism, right?
Oh, yeah.
There totally is.
Big time.
Viewer takeover, like I said. Ray in the 6 writes, hey, Rod, Travis Green should be thankful that Jim Benning is his boss and not Mark Bergevin. Tough deal getting axed after 3 losses in a row, but I'm sure there is more to it. Stay well. Ray in the 416. That's what I was saying. I had a Leaf fan text me this morning, Jamie Neugebauer, and he said, boy, you think the Leafs are hasty. Everybody thinks this is a quick trigger finger firing Claude Julien by Montreal this morning. Losing 3 to the worst team in the NHL probably does have a large part to play in this.
Oh, yeah.
A large part. And there's probably more behind the scenes, too. But Mark Bergevin went out and really retooled this roster, and the results weren't there on the ice. You got to fire the coach. Regarding Babs, Ken in Saskatoon writes in, he says, Rod, why is so much airtime and ink given to such a small sample size? Mike Commodore and a few others that have played for Babcock. Former players of notable stature in the hockey world hire the man. Maybe one day the narrative will get adjusted to give a different perspective to support the positive things Babcock has done in the world. That's from Ken in Saskatoon, and I invite you to go to rodpedersen.com right now, read my commentary. This is cancel culture stuff. They're twisting Babcock's words. They don't want to hear what he said yesterday on this show repeatedly, that he wishes he could take the things that he's said and done back. We all make mistakes. He's trying to get better. What part of that do you not understand?
Oh, yeah.
They're picking and choosing quotes that fit the narrative that Babcock is a bad guy. And as I said, I am not going to allow people to use our mistakes against us as a life sentence. Not going to happen. Life's not supposed to work that way. If you can't get over things, that's your problem, not my problem or Mike Babcock's problem. Jim Wagner writes in, good day, guys. People who aren't willing to give others a second chance better pray that no one ever digs into their past for something questionable. Thanks for the great show. Take care. Dun, dun, dun.
It's funny. I go back to, like, you always say, what's your role in it?
Yeah.
What's your role in it? And I've done that myself on different situations, and you feel a lot better about it. It helps provide a lot of closure. And I think, these guys need some closure of this. And
they need to get help.
Yeah.
Commodore needs help.
Yeah.
In the form of counseling. I'm not saying this flippantly or insensitively. He's the one with the problem. Hurting people hurt people. Babs has done his work. He's looked in the mirror. It's time Commie does. Hey, the Kinsman Telemiracle 50/50 is live now. We're making the draw Friday night. Look at the pot over my shoulder here. Well over $200,000. They're live at telemiracle5050.ca. If you haven't got your ticket yet, get yours now. 1 ticket for $20, 5 tickets for $50, 20 tickets for $100. You need to be 19 years of age or over and physically in Saskatchewan to buy your tickets, and please help out Kinsman Telemiracle. Second half kickoff coming up with Matthew Barnaby and Brendan Batchelor. Stick around.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance Program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in Program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming, the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. We continue to follow strict COVID-19 guidelines, but we've also made it easier than ever to skip the showroom and shop online. Trade up to an all-new 2021 GMC Yukon, Sierra, or Buick Encore GX and get super low payments and super high trade-in values all month long. Plus, shop online or in-store and shop worry-free with our great selection of certified pre-owned vehicles. It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC in Regina.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
An original 16 to fit your active lifestyle. Introducing Original 16 Canadian Ultra Lager. Just 80 calories and 2.5% alcohol. Taste without compromise.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
He's covering everything that matters to you. It's the Rod Pedersen Show. Tune in live Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to noon to catch the show live and be a part of the action. Take control by commenting live and sharing the show with your friends.
No. Can I tell you something about last year's poll going into the shortened season for the majors? Our viewers got it right. They nailed it.
How about that?
We had Greg Zahn on here, and he said the Blue Jays would finish tied for last. That would be tied for fourth in the American League East. You people said they would finish third, and they did. Wow.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, welcome everybody to hour 2 of the RP Show. It's we're in a segment that he named the second half kickoff. It's not an intermission. It's not halftime. We're kicking off the second half here.
Let's go.
Brought to you by, for now, the Four Seasons Sports Palace. But we're not going to delve as longingly into the quick six show topics as we did 1 hour ago, because a lot of things have come up. But this came across our Twitter byline, timeline, and you saw my eyelids, my eyebrows go, right?
Yeah, and I don't know what it is.
So it's a guy, burner Twitter account, but he says TSN 1050, that's Toronto, just played part of Babcock's interview with Rod Pedersen on air, and the way he says what he says is even worse than the raw quotes. The guy's going to need to explain what he's talking about, but he said Rob Pedersen, and Rob Pedersen is a real estate guy here in town and a close friend of mine, but it's not Rod Pedersen. But that's not the point. Why can't Toronto move on from Mike Babcock? It's like the line from Brokeback Mountain. Why can't I quit you? What is it?
They went in.
Move on, Toronto.
They went in really deep, really fast, and they got hurt really bad.
They fell in love fast.
Hard.
Okay.
And you've been there, and you tell all your buddies, this is the one. She's the one. And you don't do that lightly. I'm buying a ring.
I got you.
She is the one. And then she comes, and then she burns you, right? And completely.
Really hurt him.
Oh, really bad. Okay. And then you're scared, and you just don't want to admit it. It's bad. Oh, it's bad.
See how we make a good team here? We figured it all out.
And until you meet...
We have moved from being the View for sports fans to the Dr. Phil for sports fans.
Coming soon, Dr. D.
That's right. Sorry to interrupt.
But that's it. And until somebody else comes back in and makes them feel good. Sheldon Keefe wins the Stanley Cup, they'll forget about Mike Babcock. They'll get over it. Right?
That's what it's going to take.
And then they'll be willing to welcome him back in. But they're still, what are the stages of grief?
Denial,
sadness, anger, right? They're going through them. They're in anger right now.
Well, it's been a year and a half.
It's not an easy process.
Okay, so that's the thing. So it's in my quick six show topic. So please hit it, Jordan, if you don't mind. And then we're going to bring in Matthew Barnaby for a live analysis of this morning's breaking news that the Montreal Canadiens have fired head coach Claude Julien on the heels of last night's 5-4 shootout loss at Ottawa, a game which they trailed pretty much all game long and have lost 3 to the worst team in the NHL. Julien out today and replaced on the interim by Dominic Ducharme. That's the number one show topic today, and Matthew Barnaby will join us in moments to break it down and get his thoughts. We're all watching the game, and the Habs didn't play great. But does Claude Julien deserve to be fired today? Doesn't matter what he deserves. He's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Point 2, Babcock interview fallout. We kind of opened the second half kickoff with it here. They just can't move on in Toronto from Mike Babcock, and the media has been absolutely vicious. And maybe, guys, you're realizing why he wouldn't go on your networks to talk. Let's think about that for a second, okay? And I've seen the comments from Jeff O'Neill. I don't have any issues with Jeff O'Neill. I don't have any issues with any of these guys. We were all waiting for that Mike Commodore tweet to come out, and it finally did last night, where he's unloaded on Babcock again with both barrels. All I'll say, because O'Neill said on the Overdrive, have you ever heard anybody say that Babcock's a good guy? Nobody has. Well, come out here where he's from, where I've known him for 27 years. He is a good person. He's got faults, we all do. But enough on Babcock. I'm getting tired of it. But these are some of the topics that we've had on this today. Point 3, Tiger Woods. This can be summed up in a very brief statement. He's lucky to be alive. Probably never going to golf again. I understand yesterday when the accident happened in L.A. that the immediate reaction from people was, will he ever golf again? I get that. But today, what they're saying in L.A. and in the golf world is that he's probably never golfing again, but he's just lucky to be alive. Walking again will be a win. Probably forget about golf. Point 4, Jennifer Jones has become the GOAT of Scotties. 153 career wins. Frankly, I thought she already had it. But kudos to JJ. You go. Point 5 was NHL leftovers from last night. We'll get into these with Barney. And point 6, the CFL fans are awake today. The news there is that they are putting their finishing touches on their return to play proposal to go to the government, and we await good news. The guy in Calgary, Jeff the Stamps fan, said, in this way, Rod's right in both cases because I've said they'll play and I've said they won't play. Dude, I'm not going to brag about being right. I want them to play. Figure it out. So let's bring in Matthew Barnaby here for live analysis of this morning's news. Barney, look, Claude Julien fired this morning. I saw you live tweeting the game last night. You were watching it. Were you surprised when we heard the news?
I guess on first look, yeah. When you wake up to that, you don't really expect that for a team that's in a playoff position. But when you look at the power play, you look how lethargic they looked against the Ottawa Senators that you expect to beat up on a nightly basis. You've lost to them twice in a row, and you've got to play by them twice in a row. I think it comes down to timing, and they play the Winnipeg Jets for the next 5 games and one against Ottawa. So this team, I think in the minds of Marc Bergevin and ownership, with all the changes and the start at 7-1-2 in the first 10 is not playing up to par. And I have to agree with them. So I am a little surprised, but when you peel back that onion, it just wasn't good enough for Claude Julien and that team.
I guess I could have sniffed that you saw it coming, because what alerted me, I was watching the Chicago-Columbus game, and your tweet was, this game shouldn't be this close. So I flipped over to the game. I'm like, well, Barney's talking about it. And it was a great game, man. It was hell on wheels. It was a stage 5 gong show. So Montreal wasn't playing well.
No, and Montreal should have won. I think it was a blown call by the NHL, not only because I had money on it, but I thought the Gallagher goal at the end with 2 seconds left should have been a goal, but it's neither here nor there. You don't lose your job because of one goal. It probably delays the inevitable. They were dominated. I mean, for the first period and a half, Ottawa's young legs, the Kachucks, the Norrises, Batherson, they were flying. Ottawa looked like they did not want to play. And when it comes down to it, that's how you judge your team. If you're a general manager, if you're a coach, you can take it. If you're out shooting the Ottawa Senators 30-10, you're down 3-0. Hey, my team is buying in. They're playing the right way. When you're getting manhandled by a bunch of young kids, that's where the problem lies. And then you take it a point further. I don't care if I'm coaching. Hey, me and you can go behind that bench. We can have the best game plan. If Carey Price doesn't stop the puck, if he doesn't stop pucks like he hasn't this year, you're not going to win. And the next coach is going to lose his job as well.
Well, there you go. And that's the great segue. By the way, manhandled by kids that are the 31st team in the NHL, whom you've lost 3 times to. So that probably had a little to do with the decision. But our poll question today is, who will be the next coach of the Montreal Canadiens? Our options were Dominic Ducharme, who's right now the interim coach, Gerard Gallant, Mike Babcock, or other. Many people are voting for Patrick Roy under other. Where do you think they go from here?
Wow. Under the gun here. That's a tough one. Well, I was just asked this question on our outlet with Bet99 TV. And, will Ducharme be the coach the rest of the year? The answer is unequivocally yes. If they play well and they make a run, Ducharme's your guy. I mean, he's a well-respected coach. Listen, it's a little tougher in Montreal. A guy like Patrick Roy would make sense. I think there's a lot of still healing within that organization to do with Patrick Roy to make that come to fruition. But, they deal with a different dynamic, and it's kind of a double standard. To be a coach in Montreal, you got to speak 2 languages. So you better speak 2 languages or you have no chance in being a coach there. So that's, first of all, the wrong way to handle it. Take the best coach that's out there available. But I'm going to stick with Ducharme. I guess it's easy. I haven't thought that much about it. I would love to see Patrick Roy, and I think Habs fans would be their number one choice going forward if they failed a little bit.
Well, of course, and I'm with you, but let's just tell our viewers that he is still running your alma mater, your former club, the Rempart, is he not? Like, is he ready to do this?
Well, I think he would jump at the chance to do it for the Montreal Canadiens. It didn't work out in Colorado. There's a little bit of butting heads, and you have to be able to, Marc Bergevin would have to be able to, deal with Patrick Roy. He is definitely a different bird, and it runs through him, and he's going to want to have his imprint on the way that the team is built. So Marc Bergevin is going to have to take that into account when hiring a guy like Patrick Roy. You're not going to deal with that with Dominic Ducharme, who would just be, ecstatic to be coach of the Montreal Canadiens. They might look at Joël Bouchard. I know he's well respected. He's a former teammate of mine in junior, played with me for a short time after he was called up from the minors with the New York Rangers organization, but very well respected. So another guy to look for is Andre Tourigny, a guy that coached Team Canada, that coaches the Ottawa 67s, done a great job here developing a lot of kids and putting together a winning resume here. So he's a guy that fits all the bills as well if it doesn't go well for Montreal the rest of the year. And he speaks French, speaks English, so we can do it all for the Montreal Canadiens.
a plum job that a lot of guys would want. Yeah, so they'll have their pick of the litter for who will coach the Canadians next. Barney, I really appreciate the live analysis here. I just want to move on to the Babcock stuff for a second, if you don't mind. Wow.
Yeah.
So you saw we had him on yesterday. I think the quotes have been I think the quotes have been twisted, frankly, myself, to fit a narrative here. But these are hockey guys that don't like him, right? It's not left-wing media or whatever. It's Commodore, it's Jeff O'Neill, it's Johan Franzen. It's a lot of guys. Where are you on Mike Babcock?
Well, I never played for Mike, so I don't have him that way. I can tell you there are stories that aren't flattering towards Mike. I've met Mike several times, and I can only say, and I do this all the time with people that I haven't played for, even people that, I hear things in just my everyday thing, people maybe at my golf course, oh, he's an ass, he's a jerk. And I'm like, well, he treats me really well. Mike Babcock has always treated me with respect and treated me really well. So that's the only thing I can judge Mike on. Having said that, I talked to Mike Commodore yesterday via text because I've been planning to go out to Arizona to play golf with him. He's a good friend of mine, love him. And that's his point of view. Listen, I hate Kevin Constantine. I think he's the worst human that's ever walked the face of the earth. He's the worst coach because he didn't like me as a player. Now, there's going to be other people that like him as a person. And maybe that's just the way he is at the rink. John Tortorella isn't a fun guy to play for or be at the rink. But I'll tell you, away from the rink, he's a great guy. So my thing on Mike Babcock, he's always treated me with respect, always been very cordial, always been very nice, treated my kid well when we were in Detroit watching a game and a Michigan game. So from my point of view, all I can do is he's been great to me. Everyone else has their own opinion, and just, go with what you know. I mean, you can't judge someone unless you know them personally.
No, I agree. And speaking of, I don't know Mike Commodore personally. You obviously do. You're close friends. And here's a funny story for everybody. Matthew Barnaby, Andre Waugh, and I walk into a hall in Carlisle, Saskatchewan to speak at a banquet. Remember, the organizer came up to us and you said to the guy, how much can we get away with here? And the guy's like, what do you mean? Well, with stories, swearing, He said, Mike Commodore spoke here last year, and there is no way you will offend people more than he did. And that didn't seem to surprise you at all.
Not at all. I mean, he's a great guy, a great guy. He's a close friend, and I respect. Listen, Mike Modano doesn't like Mike Babcock, but there are people that probably love Mike Babcock and have went to bat for Mike Babcock, Brendan Shanahan being one of them, bringing him to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Having said that, yes, I wanted to make sure, and I always try to learn my audience. I have a PG version of doing events, and I have a not-so-PG version. As long as there's no kids there, whatever way people want to take it, I'm willing to go.
Yeah, we let it rock. But I had people say to me after, I can't imagine the stories you guys talked about in the car, because what you said on stage curled everybody's hair. But they loved it, Barney.
We couldn't talk. Andre Waugh talks the whole time. You and I just sit there and drank coffee for 2 hours there, 2 hours back. So yeah, it's tough getting in a word with Andre Waugh.
What a great night. Okay, just lastly for Bet99, they're a big outfit, man. I saw their huge banner on the stands on the tarp there at CT Center last night. What do you got going on at Bet99?
Yeah, it's a great company for anyone. I'm not trying to convince people into gambling or betting. You either like it or you don't. But if you do like gambling, it's a great sports book to be able to go online. So bet99.com. It's I'm kind of ambassador, but not ambassador. I'm a bettor. I'm kind of the betting guru, and I break down games. I watch a lot of different sports, whether it's hockey, basketball, golf, and anyone that likes to bet, you can use my promo code Barnaby36, all lowercase letters, and they'll match your first deposit up to $600. So if you like to bet, it's fun. Again, responsible gambling, like anything else in this world, anything in that fine line certainly is fun, but you don't want to go over it.
Moderation. What's that? Barney, thank you for joining us on short notice, man. Keep it up.
Awesome work, man.
Great analysis out of Ottawa on the firing of Claude Julien today. I'll get to your comments in a moment. The CFL report we do daily. The Montreal Alouettes re-signed American defensive back Ryan Carter on Tuesday. The 5'9", 189-pound Carter appeared in 14 games in 2019 with Montreal. He had 22 tackles and 2 knockdowns over that span. Montreal also signed American running back Cameron Artis-Payne, former Carolina Panther and Dallas Renegade. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders have signed American running back Ralph Webb, 5'9", 205-pound Webb, signed in 2018 as an undrafted free agent with the Patriots. Also spent time with the Bucks and the Steelers. We'll update this morning draw, 13 in the Scotties when we come back. Brendan Batchelor coming up as well, the voice of the Vancouver Canucks. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus TV network across all 10 provinces and 31 states. Listen live for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
IKS Live. IKS Live. Western Canada's premier production services company. LED sign rentals. Video production. Event management. Look no further than IKS Live. Visit our website. IKS Live. Always the best seat in the house. IKS Live.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. We continue to follow strict COVID-19 guidelines, but we've also made it easier than ever to skip the showroom and shop online. Trade up to an all-new 2021 Ford F-150, Explorer, or 2020 Ford Escape and get super low payments and super high trade-in values all month long. Plus, shop online or in-store and shop worry-free with our great selection of thoroughly inspected pre-owned vehicles. It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln in Regina.
Direct West has been the bridge for me from not dealing with social media or digital presence to having a presence. You have to take the leap of faith, so to say, and I'm glad we have. Direct West has helped us out immensely to get our presence online as far as digitally and also with the social media page. To see the results is just puts a smile on your face.
Look like the pros. Shop Ultimate Fan Zone. NHL, NFL, MLB, CFL, NBA, and more. We have something for every sports fan. Autographed jerseys, prints, jersey stitching, custom framing, and collectibles. UFZ is your one-stop sports store offering fans official team gear. Check out Saskatchewan's Man Cave Corner on River and Main, downtown Moose Jaw, or visit us online at ultimatefanzone.ca. Built by fans for the fans.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Working with my family has been great. My mom and dad have taught us the importance of hard work. I've been here since I was 10 years old, and my dad has taught me a lot about quality work.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance Program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in Program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome back, everybody. We will be joined by the voice of the Vancouver Canucks, Brendan Batchelor, coming up. Producer Clark says they're having a small audio issue out there in Van. Moose is here. Hey, Moose.
Hey.
William May, a viewer, says, hey, Dr. Moose, can you get Rod a blood pressure machine? He gets worked up too much. Do you agree with that?
Well, I agree that, we got to monitor, but I like that. But he doesn't need a blood pressure machine. I bet you, I'm guessing he just went on a rant and his blood pressure maybe hit 50, or his heart rate 50, 55 would be peaking.
I'm scaring myself. It's actually 77, and that's skyrocket for me.
Yeah, you're resting in the 40s. Low 50s?
Mid-50s.
Mid-50s? Okay.
Lowest I've ever got it is 42, but no, I don't have a blood pressure problem, man. Get in the gym. Who said it?
That sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger or
Get in the gym. By the way, Clark Monroe, our producer, did a bang-up impression of Mike Babcock this morning. You weren't around for it. You were on a bang up. Me and Paul were like, Clark, that's good. He said, well, when you're a Leafs fan, it rubs just ahead of Brendan Batchelor. The Kinsman Telemiracle 50-50 draws live now, and we're getting down to the short strokes, everybody. Telemiracle 45 goes this weekend. It's a Saskatchewan thing. It's Telemiracle 45, but COVID has caused some problems, of course, as we all know, with the Kinsman Telemiracle. So they've launched the first ever Telemiracle 50-50. The website is live now. This total keeps going up and up and up every day. Look at that. Can we hit 300,000, Darren?
Yes.
By the end of the week.
Let's go.
It's up to you to help us do that. 1 ticket for $20, 5 tickets for $50, 20 tickets for $100, or 100 tickets for $250. You have to be 19 years of age or older and physically in the province of Saskatchewan to buy. The Kinsman Foundation is helping people every day improve their quality of life and independence through gifts of mobility equipment and medical travel assistance. We'll make the draw Friday night, announce it Saturday, just prior to Telemiracle 45. The website is telemiracle5050.ca. The viewer takeover is later. We got all kinds of comments, but we're going to Vancouver now, and I really appreciate Brendan Batchelor joining us from Sportsnet 650. Looks like are you at home or are you in the station, Batch?
I'm at home. I've got my home set up here. I've actually, I haven't called the last 7 games because I was a close contact to someone that had COVID, and I tested negative and was fine, but I've been quarantining for 2 weeks. So I'll be back in the booth on Thursday, and I'm looking forward to it. But for now, joining you from home.
You, sir, look a little different than normal. You've dropped the baby fat. The chin's gone. What's your deal? You've lost weight here in this.
Yeah, well, during the quarantine, I just decided to eat a little less, and it's worked out pretty good. So there you go.
Proud of you. Good for you, man. So I didn't know that you'd missed those games, and so you've watched it. Look,
yes.
And you're a Lower Mainland kid, so you get the angst of the Canucks nation, man, and we don't talk about them enough. What is going on here with the Vancouver Canucks right now?
Yeah, it's really hard to pinpoint to this point of the season, the struggles that they've had. Nobody expected them to be as bad as they've been, to be perfectly honest. But here we are, almost halfway through the season. They're well out of a playoff spot. They're only 5 points up on the Ottawa Senators, who have won more games than they have this month. And it seems to be spiraling. A big part of it is their best players haven't produced with the consistency and regularity that they did last season. They haven't got the same level of goaltending. They've been prone to costly mistakes throughout the season that have ended up in the back of their net. And then, last night they built a 3-0 lead against the Oilers, and yet, if you looked on Canucks Twitter, nobody in Vancouver felt safe about that lead because of the way they've been playing lately. And sure enough, the Oilers come roaring back and win. So tough times to be a hockey fan in Vancouver right now. And there's a lot of frustration in this market for sure.
Well, let's just walk it back for a second, Batch. And I appreciate you talking about it because I know it's difficult, as I've been a voice of a team for many, many years. There was a tremendous amount of optimism going into the year, right? Amongst the fans and obviously the hockey team too. And have they really settled on a goalie? Have they settled on Demko? Because you got Holtby sitting there. Have they handled that properly?
Well, to me, it looks like they're leaning Demko, and that's the way to go because he's going to be the long-term goaltender for this team. Braden Holtby's a veteran, closer to the end of his career than the start, and he was only signed to a 2-year deal. He's likely to be exposed in the Seattle expansion draft, so he could even be gone down the I-5 highway across the border to Seattle come the offseason. But, they've given Demko the edge in starts. The problem was early in the year, their schedule was so congested that they didn't have a chance to get one guy on a roll because they were playing 3 games in 4 nights or 4 games in 6 nights consistently. So they needed both guys. And it seems like the mentality of Travis Green and Ian Clark, the goaltending coach, and the staff with the Canucks is that they want to keep both guys in the rhythm because with the way this season is constructed, they feel they're going to need both of them. That could potentially be at the detriment of getting one guy hot and rolling and feeling good and consistent. But in terms of how they've managed it so far, Demko has had the slight edge, and I expect that it will remain that way for the rest of the season with Braden Holtby getting in there every so often, more regularly than you would see a backup goaltender in a normal season, just because of the way the schedule is constructed here with the shortened 56-game season and the series being played against teams.
Interesting, though, isn't it? It just seems to me, and I apologize to our viewers, I am a goalie hugger, Brendan. I will get to the skaters in a minute, but it just seems like this Thatcher Demko isn't the same one in the playoffs that the Vegas Golden Knights barely got by. Like, is this something of a sophomore jinx? Which Thatcher Demko needs to stand up here?
Well, I don't necessarily hang it so much on goaltending as the Canucks have struggled so much
I'm not saying I am.
in front of these guys. Yeah. It was a short sample size of the playoffs, right? Like, he came in and he was tremendous in those 3 games. In Game 6 against the Golden Knights, he had 48 saves, the most saves by a rookie in a playoff shutout ever. That didn't go to overtime, of course. So, he was great, but, the talking point coming into the season was it's great he's shown that in a small sample size. Now he's got to learn to do that consistently if he wants to become a starting goaltender, and there have been some growing pains there. But, overall, I've liked more than what I haven't liked from what I've seen from Thatcher Demko, and I have faith that he'll be a starting goaltender for this team for a number of years to come. The problem is the Canucks can't put him in situations like they did against Vegas last year, or like they have too many times early in this season, where you need him to make 48 saves and pick up a shutout if you're going to win the hockey game.
Right. Okay. Well, look, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I'll turn down the heat a little bit. Were you surprised that that Claude Julien would be the first coach, not only in Canada, but in the NHL, to be fired this year? I would not have won that bet.
No, I was surprised to see that this morning. And certainly the Canadians have struggled over the last few games against the Senators. But, when we saw them from a Vancouver perspective this year, they were rolling over the Canucks with consistency. Tyler Toffoli, the former Canuck now in Montreal, set a record for most goals by a Canadian in a season series against the Canucks ever. Passing guys like Guy Lafleur in that stat category. And certainly this is a unique season and they're playing each other a lot. But, when I've seen the Canadians in person, I've been really impressed by them. But clearly they've struggled in recent weeks, and there's a high standard being set there in terms of expectations for success this year. So Claude Julien's out, and I'll be interested to see what Dominique Ducharme and his coaching staff can do in terms of trying to turn things around for the Canadians. Because one of the consistent talking points in Vancouver has been, the Canucks have struggled, but other teams seem to be getting in their own way as well, whether it's the Canadians recently or the Calgary Flames. Now, with the way Vancouver's playing and the lack of results they're getting, it's not going to matter if other teams stumble, if they don't find a way to get on a run and pick up points in terms of battling back into the playoff picture. But I find it very interesting that some of these teams have looked very hot and very cold at various stretches this year.
I would assume, because I know the way the Vancouver Canucks fans are, they're examining this 6 ways from Sunday. And the scheduling, right? The baseball scheduling and the fact that it's only in divisional play. How do you feel about this scheduling? I mean, it is what it is. But is it worked against the Canucks?
Yeah, it's unique this year, certainly. And early on, the schedule has not done any favors to the Canucks. They had 16 games in 27 nights, I believe it was, to start the season, which was the busiest schedule of any team in the league, and it's the most games they've ever played in the first 27 days of a season in their 50-year history. So they were playing most nights, and for a team that had some young players coming into the lineup and some new additions like Nate Schmidt on the blue line, they struggled to get some positive consistency going because they didn't have any practice time, right? If you have a day off, you're just resting. So, that's been a tough part of the season for the Canucks. But that said, their schedule has lightened up a lot lately. They've had a lot more practice time, and yet the results have not yet followed. So, it is unique. I think it tests coaching staffs around the league when you have to play the same team 2 or 3 or 4 times in a row, and you have to make adjustments game to game, almost like a playoff series. So, you look at the game last night, the Canucks jump out to a lead, but the Oilers find a way to adjust whatever they had to in their game. And certainly they've got Connor McDavid, arguably the best player on the planet. So that helps you battle back in games. But, now the ball is in Travis Green's court to see what he can do with his lineup or any tweaks to his game plan as they get set to face the Oilers again tomorrow night.
Hey, last one, Batch. You are a Dub grad. You keeping your finger on the pulse of that BC division? Are you hearing anything? They're the last division to go. We're all waiting. Are you following it much?
Yeah, I've heard that they're trying to work with the provincial government to come up with a hub city situation out here. And the last I had heard, they were looking at having 2 hubs in Kamloops and Kelowna, and teams playing games out of those 2 spots. But as of yet, I haven't heard anything about whether it's been approved. So hopefully they can get that sorted out with the government here in British Columbia and get back on the ice, because, certainly for many of the young players across the country who've had their season impacted this year and have hopes of, at the junior A level, getting an NCAA scholarship, or at the CHL level, trying to, put yourself in a good situation to be drafted or signed by an NHL team. This year feels like lost time for a lot of these players. So any sort of a semblance of a season they could put together, I'm sure would be welcomed by the players and their families, and would be important for their development going forward.
Absolutely, no doubt. A wonderful update. Love our visits, Batch. Get healthy, man, and looking forward to listening to you again soon.
Yeah, I'm all good, and I'll be back in the booth tomorrow night for my first game in a couple of weeks. I've still been doing the post-game shows and the intermissions from home this whole time, so I was with your good friend and mine, Andrew Walker, last night, but I'm glad to be back in the booth tomorrow for sure.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brendan Batchelor, Sportsnet 650, the voice of the Vancouver Canucks. Dupes, we've got 3 finals from Draw 13 of the Scotties. You want to hear them?
I do.
The mighty have fallen. Rachel Holman. Yes. Oh, that's breaking news.
No.
Rachel Holman has fallen to 5-1. Team Ontario losing to Team Northwest Territories Galusha 7-5 in the morning draw today. It's okay. She'll be fine.
Galusha's good, though.
Galusha's great. Another final, Team Peterson, wild card 3, defeating Northern Ontario 9-5. So Team Peterson goes to 4-3. Team Burns 2-4.
With a name like that, how do you not win?
I know, right? Actually, they're all final. No relation.
I know.
Team Zacharias, that's wild card 2, defeating Nova Scotia's Team Brothers 6-5. So that's done. Nova Scotia goes to 2-5. Zacharias 2-4. And, okay, I'm going to be the big meanie here, but Kerry Einerson, Team Canada, defeating Team Yukon, EB 11-7. Yukon falls to 0-6, and I'm saying, why are we doing this? Mm-hmm. Do you remember at the Briar when the Team None of It was here and they were just getting their clock cleaned every match? I'm like, this is embarrassing for them. Why would they even want to be here?
Yeah.
Is that too mean?
No, but you hope it can lead to getting more competitive teams in the area. It
hasn't.
It doesn't.
They're the Jamaican bobsled team.
I know. There will be a Disney movie once. One time they'll go on a run. Yeah. One time it's going to happen.
Okay, folks. Viewer takeover for the next 2 segments when we come back. All right, and overtime and face-off and all the fun things that we do. It's the RP Show on Game Plus Television Network across all 10 provinces and 31 states. Live daily on YouTube and Facebook. And listen live for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. We continue to follow strict COVID-19 guidelines, but we've also made it easier than ever to skip the showroom and shop online. Trade up to an all-new 2021 Ford F-150 Explorer or 2020 Ford Escape and get super low payments and super high trade-in values all month long. Plus, shop online or in-store and shop worry-free with our great selection of thoroughly inspected pre-owned vehicles. It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln in Regina.
Introducing Original 16 Hard Seltzer. The refreshing taste of delicious peach with vodka made in Saskatchewan. New hard seltzers from Original 16.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
There's something for everyone at the Mad Greek Eatery. Delicious Greek dishes, pizza, lasagna, pastas, soups, salads, and much more. The Mad Greek Eatery brings the best authentic Greek cuisine right to you. Available for licensed dining, events, delivery, and takeout. For the best taste and huge portions, there is only one place. Visit the Mad Greek Eatery, downtown Moose Jaw. Call for takeout and delivery today.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. While the world seems to be facing one challenge after another, our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Building a deeper connection with our fans by putting them in the show. It's a new era of sports talk. The Rod Pedersen Show airs from 10 to noon, Monday to Friday on Facebook Live. Join the conversation today and tune in. Online, on your phone, at home, at work. Follow us on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. And subscribe on YouTube for all the content you want to watch. Don't wait. Do it right now. Laid back and kicking it. Let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
Welcome back, everybody. We're starting into the viewer takeover. James in Morden, Manitoba says, love the updates from the other teams. Now that 1290 is gone, you're all I got. Talking about TSN 1290 going off the air in Manitoba. We're trying to bring those guys on as much as we can. And actually, now's a good time to talk about Sports on Tap. I keep forgetting to do this for the tap. Drive-through liquor store and brew house. National Hockey League tonight. Another very busy night. Carolina at Tampa Bay, Dallas at Florida, Rangers at Philadelphia, Flames at Leafs, Anaheim at Arizona, Minnesota at Colorado, and the LA Kings at the St. Louis Blues. It's another night off for the Winnipeg Jets. Of all those games, I might say the featured game is the Dallas Stars at the Florida Panthers.
Yeah, I'm into that.
And who would have said that?
I know.
Those age-old rivals.
I know, right?
Dallas and Florida. And, of course, I'll have an eye on the Flames and Leafs. And also the Raptors are at Miami tonight, trying to get back in the win column. So there's your Sports on Tap for the tap.
Which, by the way, Dallas is very interested in the Mike Babcock news. I got a buddy who's down there, and he says the weather's cleared, the snow's gone, power's on.
Right.
It's beautiful down there, but he said it's incredibly exciting. His sister actually plays with the Husky women's team, so they're incredibly the hockey people are incredibly excited.
They should be.
Yeah.
Well, we say that it is viewer takeover, so I'm just going to let it rock with what they're saying here. A-Dog has written in a few times on YouTube, and he says, new NLL team to Albany, New York. A good idea, or does that flood the state with too many teams? Oh, I love my NLL. I got the news release yesterday from the NLL and the Rush. And it was the New England Black Wolves were sold and moved. So it's a new team-ish. A team's moving.
Yeah.
And I watched the Black Wolves when they came through and played the Rush. I haven't really delved into it because I'm eyeballs deep in Scotia North Division and trying to follow what the CFL's doing. I'm sorry. I'm not totally down with NLL franchise movement. But, hey, Ryan McCarthy, whom I'll be on his podcast tonight. Look how this is growing, Darren.
Oh, yeah.
He says, hey, dog, I live in the Albany area. Lacrosse is very popular, especially with you, Albany, in the top 10 for the last decade. We can support it. Obviously, it wasn't working in New England. I guess there's only room for one team in New England, and we know who that is.
This town ain't big enough for the two of us, eh?
Exactly. So, like I say, I got the news release, but I'm not entirely following what's going on with a league that's not playing, doing as much as I can. And I knew that, Ada. I said they moved from New England to Albany. And they were sold, right, to one of the richest guys in the area, from what I heard. From Figgy, Paul Figler from the dubnetwork.ca. He's watching in Red Deer, and he says, while I am sure no one applauds the radio station's closures and downsizing, the show absolutely benefits, and I am all for that. You think that I haven't been on the radio or on the phone with these radio guys that all lost their job? Almost all of them in the last couple of weeks since this has happened. And radio is unknowingly fueling the digital age. You go and turf 3 all-sports radio stations, what you think's going to happen? They got to go. The listeners got to go somewhere. So radio's cannibalizing itself. That's what I see. Don't you?
Yeah, and it's so tough, though, for radio or for any industry to start innovating again. When you've had success in one area, it's hard to innovate. It really is.
Yeah.
It seems easy, but it's tough. Like to say, start selling cell phones. Yeah, but these landlines, they're selling like, I'm making a lot of money here. I'm not going to stop making money to go invest in something else because you want to see the future, but you can't. It's tough. Really hard.
That Glen Elm watching in Florida. I think it's Tallahassee. He says top 5 NHL goal scorers are all in the Canadian division. The last couple nights and days, you fell victim to this. I've gone home and just turned my phone off. It's overload. I can't. Not just with what I'm seeing on social media, but with what people are texting me, just with their thoughts. Glen Elm's right. The top 5 NHL goal scorers reside here in the Great White North. And people are trying to tell me that this is a inferior division? Stop it. Stop.
I know.
Because you don't know what you're talking about.
I know.
I'm kind of sitting there going, what is the weakest division of all the NHL divisions? And it's probably the Honda West division, but it sure as heck is not the Scotia North division. And I felt bad when we had Brendan Batchelor on here, the voice of the Vancouver Canucks, because it's like, it felt like I was making him answer for this hockey team that's let everybody down. It's not his job.
I know.
But he's like, they're going to miss the playoffs.
It's looking that way. And, we're in that stage where this isn't a bad start anymore. This isn't a tough start. This isn't a bad stretch. This is kind of who you are. And now you need to do a St. Louis Blues type January 1st to Stanley Cup kind of turnaround, that type of a monumental turnaround.
Oh, yeah.
This is who you are.
That's
You're
where they're
probably
getting
missing
to.
the playoffs.
Yeah. It was going to be in my leftovers tweet this morning, but I took it out. But I was going to say, when are we going to start talking magic numbers in the National Hockey League? We got to be getting somewhere close.
Oh, yeah.
But we're not even officially at the halfway pole yet. But to say some teams are panicking is an understatement because the Montreal Canadiens fired their coach this morning. which even Habs fans thought was hasty. Okay? From John in Edmonton regarding those radio stations scrapping the all sports format, John says 2 of the radio stations are becoming comedy channels, and one of them's becoming Bloomberg. Tell me, John, why you think that is. I'll just tell you, because it's cheap. That's why, because it's cheap. That's why they're doing it. Do you want to add anything on that? Or just, I nailed it, right?
I'm good.
Wayne in Victoria. I agree, Rod, that shutting down radio stations is going to make digital platforms explode online. Well, again, you're not listening to Bloomberg Radio. I put on the business channel when I'm trying to have a nap on weekend afternoons. Nobody wants to listen to that. And the Comedy Network? Same thing. Joe Hamilton in St. Louis, Missouri. He says the Blues are the walking wounded. But saying that, you got to beat the Kings. I love this guy, Joe Hamilton. You got to check out his podcast. I was on it last night. He's with ASTV.
Okay.
By the way.
Yep.
So, yeah, love to hear me from love to hear from our American friends. And I'm going to break right after this comment, but Jeff, the Stamps fan, I can tell Jeff, the Stamps fan, that you're having a very long day. He says, I can't wait to hear Mark Steven and Greg Peterson do a Stampeder radio broadcast again on 770 CHQR. I know that you can't, Jeff. You've been writing in about the Stamp signing Matt O'Donnell maybe, and how they've got room because Erdos and Bergman are gone. Look, I've seen your comments. It's very long days right now for CFL fans. Very long days.
Not even noon in Alberta.
It's not even noon in Alberta. But there's a lot of other things going on, my man. And that's what we're preferring to talk about. Talking about what is, not what isn't. But anyways, I am sniffing what I think we're going to talk about in the face-off when we come back. But you people, write in and tell us what you think we should talk about in the face-off. That's always fun, right? Because then we're doing it on the fly.
That's right.
So the overtime segment is next. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus Television Network, live daily on YouTube and Facebook, and listen live for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance Program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in Program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming at the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. We continue to follow strict COVID-19 guidelines, but we've also made it easier than ever to skip the showroom and shop online. Trade up to an all-new 2021 GMC Yukon, Sierra, or Buick Encore GX and get super low payments and super high trade-in values all month long. Plus, shop online or in-store and shop worry-free with our great selection of certified pre-owned vehicles. It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC in Regina.
An original 16 to fit your active lifestyle. Introducing Original 16 Canadian Ultra Lager. Just 80 calories and 2.5% alcohol. Taste without compromise.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
or to help new moms and babies like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
This right here is time well spent. Why not pour yourself a smooth Saskatchewan-made Original 16? Warm up to the opportunity to seize the day.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Working with my family has been great. My mom and dad have taught us the importance of hard work. I've been here since I was 10 years old, and my dad has taught me a lot about quality work.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
He's covering everything that matters to you. It's the Rod Pedersen Show. Tune in live Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to noon to catch the show live and be a part of the action. Take control by commenting live and sharing the show with your friends. You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
And Moose DuPont with me. And look at this. New viewer on YouTube writes in, Dupes, Habs for Life 1. That's his name.
All right.
He says, does he answer questions on YouTube? Yes, he does. Yes, he's in the room. That's me.
Does he?
Yeah. I answer your questions, as does he. We all do together here. It's interactive television. Welcome to the 21st century.
That's right.
A quick sports update. The Montreal Canadiens are making big changes. The Habs have fired head coach Claude Julien and associate coach Kirk Muller. Assistant coach Dominic Ducharme has been named interim coach. Habs have lost 3 in a row, including their past 2 to the last place since. The Maple Leafs and Calgary Flames completed 2-game series tonight. The Flames beat the Leafs 3-0 on Monday in Toronto. The Leafs have a 4-point lead on the Oilers for top spot in the North Division. Calgary 5th. The Toronto Raptors look to bounce back tonight. Toronto is in Miami, facing the Heat after losing to the visiting Philadelphia 76ers last night in Tampa. The loss dropped the Raps back to 500. The Canadian women's soccer team wraps up play at the She Believes Cup in Orlando today. Canada faces Brazil in what looks to be an even contest. The two teams are tied for 8th in the world. And authorities say there's no immediate evidence that Tiger Woods was impaired in a crash that left him with multiple fractures in his right leg. His surgeon says the 15-time Grand Slam champion had multiple open fractures to his lower right leg. This sports update proudly brought to you by dubnetwork.ca, your number one source for Western Hockey League coverage with the best team of writers across Western Canada and the Pacific Northwest. Visit today, dubnetwork.ca. And for Ben Cahoon's G2G protein bars, now with 8 amazing flavors, including the new almond mocha. Order yours today at g2gbars.ca. RP Show viewers get 20% off with the promo code RP Show. So for that Habs for Life viewer,
yes,
we were all over the Claude Julien firing. We went live to Matthew Barnaby in Ottawa, who was covering last night's Sens Canadiens game. And he thinks Ducharme is the easy hire and wouldn't be a bad hire if they went past this season with Dominic Ducharme. But the sexy, tantalizing hire is Patrick Roy.
Ooh.
And it's been almost 96 he left. I was thinking 93. They won the Cup in 93. He left in 96. So it's been 15 years of pain between the Habs and Patrick Roy. Can they get over it?
It's like a hex or a spell. And it's like you have to go back and undo before you can move forward. So it's like Patrick Roy might be the key to that franchise winning another Stanley Cup.
Mm-hmm.
You got to repair that, and then we will allow your franchise to move on and win again.
I can't believe how seamlessly we fit in all of our sponsors today. It's unbelievable. It's magic, actually, that we've done it the way that
it really is when it happens so seamlessly.
Yeah. So Nelson Hakowicz, our VP of Sim Events, says face-off is who is the next coach of the Habs. That's our poll question today, and the leader has been Ducharme. I want to face off on this, and it goes back to the warm-up, about Leafs fans, again, for the Ultimate Fan Zone and the Mad Greek in Moose Jaw, which you need to go to Moose Jaw and get some more Leafs gear. You need some more Leafs gear.
I do. I don't have enough.
And I'm about to bully you, so teasing. It's the SaskTel Be Kind Online anti-bullying day to day. Look at his shirt. He changed.
That's why I put the pink shirt on.
Yeah, I'm not going to bully him, but I'm going to say it again for Leafs fans. I don't understand. I don't understand. I grew up, I had the same TV channel you did, Darren. I had CBC. I was watching the Leafs every Saturday night too, and I was watching them getting thumped. And there was nothing about them that I liked. Didn't care for Boreas Salming, didn't care for Wilf Paymont, didn't care for Ian Turnbull. Those are the guys that I watched. And I don't understand why the Leafs have so many young fans. I get the older people, I do, but when you don't win since the advent of color television and the original six era, I don't get it. And to say that you watch them every Saturday night isn't enough for me.
I know.
It's just not enough for me.
I know, but it's human nature. Like the Riders, you say they're Canada's team and everybody's second favorite team because you loved them, because you just, they're the poor kid on the block. You just want to have some success because they don't have any success. You just hope, like, I'll help you out. Like, come on, right? They're the little kid that doesn't get enough success. So you root for them, the underdog.
There you go.
And that's kind of where they're at. But you learn the stories. You see the guys. And in my era of watching the Leafs, growing up with them, they got good. They had some stars. Sundin, Felix Potvin were good. And then they got good at the late 90s, early 2000s. They made a couple of conference championship finals. Never got to the Stanley Cup, but they got close. They went on some runs. So they fill your heart up, and then they let you down. And when they let you down, you're hooked, right?
I got you.
You're hooked.
The hard luck story.
The hard luck story.
Well, again, I was on that podcast in St. Louis last night, and the host, it was a Leafs fan second, Blues first. I said, I don't understand it. And he goes, well, why would anybody cheer for Montreal? And I'm like, 24 Stanley Cups, done. Boom, mic drop. It's easy. I'm not even a Habs fan.
I know.
The Habs fan, Habs for Life on YouTube, writes in and he says, I will cry in a corner for years to come if the Leafs win the Cup this year. Well, it's looking like they might. But I am hella excited about tonight's game, Flames and Leafs, although the marquee game is Dallas, Florida. But the Face-Off is brought to you by the Ultimate Fan Zone, your one-stop shop for the sports fan on your list. Visit the Man Cave, downtown Moose Jaw, or on Facebook. They've got every NHL team merch, plus NFL. And the Mad Greek in Moose Jaw, available for licensed dining, takeout, or delivery. Head to the madgreekeatery.com for more information. Oh! You're not going to believe that. I got to say this, because it probably won't come up again. It's in my sports update. So I read the scores from the game in Halifax last night.
The Q.
Yeah. Do you know who scored for the Mooseheads, one of their 4 goals?
Smith.
A kid by the name of Robert Orr.
What?
What? I got it here. Zachary Leroux, Robert Orr, and Elliot Denoye supplied the rest of the offense for the Mooseheads after Zach Jones scored the winner in overtime, or I guess before Jones. His name is Robert Orr, and he's playing for the Halifax Mooseheads. His parents either have a hell of a sense of humor, or are great Bruins fans, or are the most obtuse people in the world.
What number? What position? Like, does this keep going? Oh, I don't even want...
His name is Robert Orr.
And I like how they just casually throw it in the sports update like it's no big deal.
I know. Zachary Leroux, Robert Orr, and Elliot. Clearly they're on to something because they don't want to call him Bob Orr.
Right.
Or Bobby Orr. Terry Carrier on YouTube. I hear you, Rod. Growing up, all the Habs did was win for me. That's why I'm a Habs fan. They're classy. Walk into the Bell Center. They reek of class, that whole outfit. Anyways, I don't know who's going to be on with us tomorrow. Just join us tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central or noon Eastern right here on Game Plus. Thanks to our guests today. Have a good one. Whoa.